Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Colony is a dice-rolling drafting game by Bezier Games, and what you're doing, this is kind of building up this colony to gain resources and dice and be able to score points at the end of the day. You know, this is one of those games where, like, I have a love-hate relationship with it. I actually like the game. You're rolling these dice and you're drafting them, and that's fun, and you're trying to manipulate them, and you're trying to get into a situation where you can make the dice work for you based on the drafting that you're doing. All of that is really fun. It hits, like, Dominion style, where the cards are out, and you can obtain those through the resources that you're doing. But the game is completely killed by the downtime. This game has a tremendous amount of downtime. Why would just pick up my phone? And I know some people don't like that. I don't mind you looking at your phone during the downtime in the game. It doesn't bother me that much. I don't let things like that affect me. But this game, it's a must. You're going to have to. There's so much downtime. I do all my things, then you do all your things. And then you want to think about your things. And then you do your things. And the next player does their things. And oh my gosh. 90% of this game is sitting around and just waiting on other people. And it's not real interesting because once I'm done, so say I go first in the round, I can't plan for my next turn because it's going to be dictated on what dice are rolled next round and how we're going to be drafting. I can't do that early to speed things up because then the other players will have more information that the other players didn't have and give them an unfair advantage. So you're just sitting. Now, if you play with a group that moves things along and boom, 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 we're ready to go, you know, maybe this game would move up a little bit. But I don't know. These dice games where you roll the dice and you have to do all this manipulation and do all these things, you know, and as you get more cards and more interesting things are happening and the options become available to you, wow, the turns get longer and longer and longer as the game goes on. And it's a huge, huge negative for me. So this is one of those games where if downtime doesn't bother you, I think it shoots up for you. For me, I don't like a lot of downtime in my games. I don't mind some downtime if I'm going to be thinking about my turns or what I'm going to be doing in the future. But if it's purely tactical and I can't think about anything until the next turn and I see what dice are available and how the drafting is going to go, then it doesn't really add a whole lot to me. It's just an opportunity to play on my phone or sit around kicking the tires. So this one is probably better with less players. The more players, the more downtime, the more game time there's going to be. But it doesn't necessarily mean you'll be playing the game more. So even though the game might go from 30 minutes to an hour and 15, you're still only playing the same 15 minutes because it's just the other players that you're waiting on. Not a lot of simultaneous things going on in this game. And for that reason, it just killed it. There's so many better games out there. There's so many games that don't have this absurd amount of downtime in it. I don't know that you can fix it. Like I said, there's not a lot of simultaneous that you can add to this game or house roll to fix it. It's just going to come with the game. Strong game, lots of fun, a lot of options. I don't know that it gives you anything new either. So if something was giving you something new and interesting, you kind of overlook the flaws. But this is the same game we've seen before, you know, with dice. But we've done it with dice. We've done all this before. The theme didn't really attract me. It's not something that I liked. This, I don't know if it was post-apocalyptic, dystopian kind of colony. I don't know. I mean, there were robbers going around. The artwork kind of leads you to like a Mad Max atmosphere, but you'll overlook that as you're just looking at the dice and manipulating the dice. I don't think that theme comes through very strongly at all. So for me, absolutely a purge. I had to get rid of this one. The downtime just killed it for me. That's all I can say. Here's Colony by Bezier Games, the new classics. Really striking kind of box art here, if you will. And if you like that sort of thing. First thing you notice, you're going to get a rulebook out on top. We'll take a look at that in a second. You're going to have a very good organization here with the cards. I just put all my dice and stuff together and the little scoring things. This will be the scoring that you'll be using in the game. This is just more of a tracker than anything, but it's nice and thick. And then you're going to have all of the cards listed here with dividers for them. So not a lot of room if there were going to be expansions. I think this game's been out long enough where there's not going to be expansions, but there's plenty of room here for that. I just kind of put those cards there. I slap these things down in the center, and I'm ready to go. So the organization in here is really fantastic and a lot of forward thinking, except for expansions. Here's the rule book. You got a picture of all the components and the different cards that are in there, so you can count those up. Here is setup with a picture, so it takes you through. The only thing that's kind of weird is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, it's kind of weird how this is set up. It's not a circle where you're not reading left to right, but it works and the game is simple enough. Here is gameplay. This is really how you play the game right here. So if you're looking for a reference while you're playing, a lot is right here. If you want to play solo, and then a sample turn over here. Some of the things that are going on are a little wonky. And then how the resources, and it gets into more descriptions here, what VPs look like, etc. And then explanation of the starting cards, and then the remainder of the cards that you can have in the game. I found this rulebook to be very, very good. The game is really rather simple, and the rulebook keeps it simple, and then gets more detailed as it goes on. That's a really good job here. So when the game sets up, you're going to put out these starter cards here. I'll explain what they do, and everybody will get 4 cards, which they'll place down in front of them. I'll explain these in a second. And then you're going to have, in the rulebook, you'll see a recommended setup of your elective cards, and there's a whole bunch that they have in here that you can choose from. So all these cards, you can have different combinations, and they recommend certain ones based on your playing style. But these cards will always be out. Now, my goal here is just to show you how a game will work so you can kind of see. So these cards will be up in the middle with the elective cards that you've chosen, and you will have these 4 cards to start the game. So I'm going to take a look, set these aside for a second, and show you what these cards are going to do. So this card here that you'll have will allow you to take any 2 equal numbers and turn it into any other dice. This one says if you give up a 1, a 2, 3, and a 4, you can upgrade a card. So that means most of these cards, if you flip them over, have an upgraded side. So instead of having 2 equal numbers, I can have any 2 dice can turn it into a die. Here, this will allow me to have building, or allow me to get one of these chippy tiles. The chippy tiles allow you to get the gray dice. And this is a storage facility where I'll be able to put up to 6 dice there and hold them to the next round. So these are the 4 cards that you'll start out every game with, and you can utilize these to move up. So everybody will start the game by rolling 3 dice and putting them inside their warehouse. Whoever has the lowest number of dice will go first. Then on your turn, you're going to roll 3 dice, and you will draft these dice. So if it's my turn, I will take these dice, put them here, signifying that it's my turn, and I will pick one of these. Let's say I want to take the 4, and then the other people playing with will draft these dice and take these. And these will be the dice that I want to play with for the turn. So moving forward just a little bit, let's pretend like I had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. These are the dice I have. So I could spend a 1, 2, 3, 4 for the upgrade, and I could upgrade one of my cards, simply flipping it over to the upgrade side. So this card allows me to build 1 building a turn, or I can get a chippy. The chippies, you can have as many of these as you want, but you can only spend 3 in a turn. If you give them up, you get these like gray dice, which you can roll. But the problem with these gray dice is they must be used in this round, you cannot store them in the warehouse. So these gray dice you'll be able to obtain, only good for the current round. But if I flip it over to the upgrade, which I'm going to do, I can get as many buildings on a turn as I want, or if I don't get any buildings, I can get 2 of those chippies. And then I would discard these, and that would be my turn because I can't buy anything with a single die. In addition, you're going to have these cards in the center, and there's a whole bunch of them. They all do different things that you can buy. This will require me to have 5 dice that have a 6 and 1 that has a 2. And if I gain that, it's going to give me a perishable 6 every single round. So every round I'm going to have 1 6 I can use, but it's perishable. And these little half moons, or half suns at the bottom to give me victory points. So that's just 2 victory points. Based on the number of players, you will be playing to a certain victory point count. 4 player, you'd be like 15. 3 would be 16. 2 player, you go into 20. So you'll be tracking it on this as you go, so you want to buy cards. Now, if you look at the Fallout Shelter, this card's a little bit unique. It costs a 6 and then 4 dice that are equal. But as you gain more, if I had 1 Fallout Shelter, I get 1 point. But if I had 5, I would get 12. So these are going to ratchet up in value as I collect these. And that's what you're going to do on a turn. You're going to get these cards. Hopefully you get more dice, more mitigation, but also these victory points at the bottom. Remember, each card is going to be upgradable as you go on. First person to the victory point total will win. So very simply, on your turn, take anything out of your warehouse that you have. You will take 3 white dice that are non-perishable, roll them, draft 1 for yourself. The next person would get 1, and then the next person would take whatever's left over. You're playing a 4th person, they would get nothing. And then you would utilize and spend your dice. With 2 dice, there's nothing for me to buy, but I can get this, since I've upgraded it, and get my 2 chippies for next time, and that would be my turn. And that's how you play Colony. Who should buy this game? So there's going to be fans of maybe post-apocalyptic, dystopian type themes, although it does not come along strong in this. Dice drafting is fun. The Dominion style of getting cards is okay, but you're going to have to be okay with downtime. If downtime bothers you at all, I would definitely say this is a play before you buy and make sure that downtime isn't going to bother you. If none of the negatives bothers you, then this is a really solid, fun game that I would say you can invest your time and money into. For me, it's going to be a Purge. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep